All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakodash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and much salutation to you, elect Akim, and also the few sincere sisters that listen to this word as well. All right, I'm the brother Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, and been intending on going into a particular lesson these past few days, but the Spirit had me bring it out today. Okay, and this is pretty much going to be how just as we're the first fruits as pertaining to spirit, or, I should say, Lord, when the widow's man, but I'm awarded as the elect of Israel are going to be the first fruits pertaining to the spirit. They're going to be the first ones receiving the promise, the new bodies, all right, the governing body. So just as you have a first fruits on the righteous side, okay, the elites on the left-hand side are going to be the first fruits within slavery, okay? As much as we talk about the kingdom of heaven, or I should say this, as much as people talk about the kingdom of heaven, they don't have a firm understanding what the kingdom of heaven pertains to and what's going to go down in the kingdom of heaven. Now, we, on the other hand, who are in the know, have understanding of what the kingdom of heaven is, who it's pertaining to, and what's going to be done. All right. Now, when you think of a kingdom, okay, you have to have in state, like in the mind state of an actual kingdom, like rulership, somebody in power, people that are lower than you. Okay, just like today. Okay, and just like for the past thousands of years, you've always had kingdoms that were established on earth. All right, you always had the high class, the up class. All right, and you've always had the low class. Okay, you had the servants and you had the rulers. Okay, now the kingdom of heaven is going to be just like that. Okay, a lot of people think the kingdom of heaven is where you're going to be floating in the clouds forever, when that's not the case, because what did Yahweh Shai say? All right, he said, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So the kingdom of the Most High, the kingdom of Israel, is going to be reestablished on the planet Earth. All right. Now, when Solomon was in power, that was a 40-year period, or a quick glimpse or foreshadowing of the righteousness that was going to be done on the planet Earth. Okay. That was just a quick glimpse of it. It was a little preview of it. And that was a lower level version of it. Okay. Now, when David and Solomon was ruling, when David had taken the kingdom, all right, he had separated Moab and slain off half the Moabites so they could they would serve David. Okay, and then he set up garrisons over in the land of Edom. Okay, he also had slaves. Okay, and hey, Elder Yashawamba likes to go into this all the time, man. Okay, when Yahweh comes back to sit on the throne, he's gonna sit on the throne of his father David, and he's going to rule. Okay, so as he sits on the throne of his father David, the same things that was done back then are going to happen today. Okay, when Yahweh comes back, he's going to have many crowns on his head. Okay, he's going to have many crowns on his head. Matter of fact, the Spirit's telling me to get this one first. I believe it's in Isaiah 41. Let's see. I think it's in Isaiah 41. This Isaiah 41:1. It says, keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near and let them speak. Let us come near together in judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east? All right. And the righteous man is Yahweh. Called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him rule over kings. He gave them as the dust to a sword and as dripping stubble to his bow. Okay. So Yahweh is the first fruit, all right, when it comes to the kingdom of heaven. And then you have the first fruits that are under him, which is the elect, okay? But it says he's going to rule over kings, all right? Now, the start of that ruling over those kings, these kings have to be subject unto him, all right? And then with us, Lord, when we those men being joint heirs to him, they're going to be subject unto us. When the saints take the kingdom, all right, when the saints take the kingdom, it's not going to just be how should I word this? Peaceful protest, man. All right, it's going to be blood. Okay, and best believe When destruction comes, man, all the lower level heathen are going to be destroyed. All right. And we're going to take the kings first. Okay. That's why I said earlier, the kings are going to be the first fruits of the slavery. All right. They're going to be kings, nobles, people in government office. All right. You're going to find a few stragglers here and there. Okay. But the main ones that are going to be bound up with those chains are going to be the rulers of these other nations, starting with Esau, Edom. All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 149. And I'm going to jump to verse 6. Start at verse 5. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Who are the saints? That's the Israelites. But that starts with the elect. Okay. It says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouths and a two-edged sword in their hands. So as we're executing judgment, okay, we're going to be praising the Lord. Okay. As horrific as that sounds, when we're judging on the planet Earth, man, we're going to be praising Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Verse 7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Okay. So we're going to praise the Lord as we're executing vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Because when David did that, he was praising the Lord. Did not David do this when he got into power? Okay, so as the kingdom of heaven is going to have to be reestablished on the planet Earth and the heathen are going to have to be beaten in subjection, this is going to have to happen. Vengeance is going to have to be executed. Verse 8 says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. It doesn't say the principals and the teachers and all that. No, it says their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. All right. This is the thing about it. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? When you see that, how the saints are going to, the high praise of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, executing vengeance, this shows you that Yahweh is a man of war. Okay? He's not the God that these churches over here today portray. Okay? Yeah, he is a merciful God. He sure is. He's merciful to who he chooses to have mercy. But he's also wrathful and horrible and terrible on who he chooses to be terrible towards. And of course, he's going to be terrible toward the people of his indignation. All right. To the heathen. I mean, look what they've done to the saints. Look what they've done to Israel. OK, everything that was done to us, they're going to have to pay it back twofold, man. But hey, that just goes according to the scriptures. In Exodus 15:3, it says Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. All right. So if he's a man of war, best believe his saints are going to be girt up in that warlike apparel when we take over the heathen and we bind those kings. All right. But as you read that there, it says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. So this is an honor that all of us have, to be able to bind these kings and these heathens with these chains and these nobles with fetters of iron. And that starts with Esau, Edom. OK, now when doom hits, when destruction hits, yeah, you got people that are going to die. A lot of the heathen are going to die. A lot of the Edomites are going to die. All right. You even read that in Revelation 8, where it talks about as those stars fell and it says and the third of man was destroyed. Man, it's talking about Esau. So, yeah, a lot of these Edomites are going to die when doom hits, when war hits, when these nukes come over to America, and also things happen all over the world. There's going to be a lot of death on the face of this earth. OK, but when it comes to the elites, they're going to hide. They're going to hide. And we're going to have to fetch them out of their hiding places. All right. Just to show that real quick. This is the book of Amos, chapter 9. And I'm going to start at the top. It says, I saw Yahweh standing upon the altar. And he said, smite the lintel of the door that the post may shake, and cut them in the head. All of them. OK, cut them in the head. Why did it say that? All right. Sounds like it goes right back to the judgment given to the serpent in Genesis 3. All right. When it says it shall bruise thy head, meaning it being the seed of the woman shall bruise the serpent's head. And it says thou shall bruise its heel. OK, so it says and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away. OK, so there's going to be a large number of them that are going to be slain with the sword. Now it says the last of them, but check this out. He that fleeth from them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, Now, when you go into that word hell, that pretty much means the grave or the earth, all right, or the ground. Okay, because they have these bunkers that they've built underground, okay, to protect themselves from nuclear fallout. It says, then shall mine hand take them. Though they climb into heaven, thence will I bring them down, because they have these space stations up there that they think they're going to be saved from as well. These elites got money is the thing. These are trillionaires. They have all the money on the world. These Rockefellers, these DuPonts, these Gettys. All right. Starting with them. And you even have a lot of other heathen that have kings and nations that had worked together with these Chaldeans in order to take us down. So, yeah, they're going to be hiding as well. OK. Psalms 83 talks about these nations that conspired together so Israel would stop being a nation. Those elites of those nations are still going to be up and moving around that time when the destruction hits. They're going to hide in different spots and think they're going to be protected. OK, it says, though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb into heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Karna, which means the clefts of the rocks or the mountains, I will search and take them thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and it shall bite them. All right. And talking about Leviathan. OK, so all these people that have taken crafty counsel together so Israel would not be a nation of people. Those people are alive today. And the first fruits of them are the elites, the Illuminati. All right. The so-called white man, the Chaldeans, the modern day Chaldeans, as I should say. OK, when destruction is hitting, when doom and death is hitting this place, they're going to hide. They're going to hide off. OK, but we read in Psalms 149, it says we're going to bind the kings with chains and the nobles with fetters of iron. So these people have that power to have these bunkers under the earth, have these bunkers in the sea, these space stations, these bunkers in the mountains. They have power to be able to do that. OK, these lower level Edomites, these lower level heathen don't have the power to be able to do that, man. They're going to die off when all hell breaks loose. Verse 4 says, and though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them, and I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good. OK, so they will go into captivity was the point. OK, the ones that hid in the mountains, that hid in the caves, they're going to go into captivity. All right. And then after the 1,000 years of slavery, they're going to be slain by the sword. The Edomites, that is. OK, the elites. OK, and how are they going to be taken from these hills, from the clefts of the mountains, from the sea, from the space? All right. Are they going to just come down? All right. Because you read in verse 1. All right. It says, I will slay the last of them with the sword. OK. So let's go to this here in Jeremiah 16. All right. Jeremiah 16:16 says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And that's the fishers are the disciples, are the prophets. And we're fishing the people. We're casting that net when we're preaching. And the ones that when we pour that net back and have that fish, those are the brothers that are listening. All right. That's why Yahushua said, behold, I will make you fishers of men. All right. And it says, and I will send forth hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, from every hill, and from the holes of the rock. OK, so these fishes are going to be converted, or I should say transformed into hunters. So the Lord is going to use his prophets and give them power to be able to go in the sea, to be able to go in space, in the rocks. All right, in hell, as it was written in Amos 9:1, which is the earth, and find these people. All right, and gather them up. All right, so they'll serve slavery. OK, I'm going to keep reading. It says, for mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double. OK, now what was one of the things that they have done? All right, one of the most heinous things that they've done. They've put in slavery the Israelite man and woman and child. They enslaved the apple of the Most High's eye. OK, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. It's in Zechariah 2:8. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me into the nations which spoiled you, For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants, and ye shall know that Yahweh of hosts hath sent me. Okay, so just as we were a spoil, we were taken in captivity, the apple of the Most High's eye. These kings and these princes and these nobles, as they're taken from these mountains and these clefts and in the sea and in space, they're going to be the first fruits of slavery. Just as they have afflicted the apple of the Lord's eye, they have to be afflicted double. Okay? So, hey, you even read it in Revelation 13:1. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right? The heads of these people are the ones that led us into captivity. Okay? And then their children and the people that are under them follow suit. All right? But the low-level peons going to go within the second death, within this fire. All right? And they're going to come back as slaves, as children. All right? They're going to be the children of these kings and these nobles that we seeing. Okay, and I can get that too. And it says, and first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Check this out in verse 19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. Okay. So what is inheritance? An inheritance is something that's passed down from your father. Now, their fathers were the ones that did all these things, which they're their fathers at the end of the day. They're the ones that put us in slavery. All right. They're the ones that had us build up this land. All right. They're the ones that were raping our children, raping our women, buck breaking our men. OK, these men have done all these things and they've gained everything by deceit. Okay, so as much as they say their fathers have inherited lies, you reap that inheritance. You are your father. Okay, so as your fathers have done all these things to us, you're going to be the ones that are going to be captured. All right, a lot of these people that are in power because of what their fathers have done. When you look at the Rothschilds, all right, I believe before they were called Rothschilds, what was their last name? They were called Bowers. All right, they got their name changed to Rothschild, man. Okay, but when you got I think his name was Meyer Amshire Bauer, all right, who was the first out of that line to receive all that wealth that he had gotten has been passed down to his children. And his children are still doing the bidding of their fathers. Okay, so as much as they can say our fathers inherited lies, they're going to say all these things as they're being taken from these mountains. All right, as the men of the Lord are taking them, putting chains on them, they're going to be crying, yelling, screaming, gnashing their teeth, screaming out. But it doesn't matter because you have to serve that slavery. These elites are going to be the first ones to be taken. All right. And then the ones who die are going to be their children, and then they're going to serve as well. OK, just as how the 2/3 that die are going to come back in the kingdom and be the elect's children. All right. The Lord deals with balance at the end of the day. So I said I was going to pull that example up. Okay, so let's pull that up real quick in the book of Isaiah chapter 60. And I believe it's in verse 10. It says, and this is when the kingdom of heaven is being built up. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. It says their kings shall serve unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor will I have mercy on thee. Okay. And then when you jump down, verse 14, it says, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all that despise thee shall bow themselves at the sole of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the monument or Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Okay. So yeah, these people are going to serve, man. All right. These people are going to serve the men of the Lord, and it's going to start with their kings that are bound in those chains. Okay. And there was one more verse that I was trying to find on that. Just give me one sec, Baba Kashar. Let's see here. They're going to come bending the knee. They're going to be subject unto thee, man. Hey, as it's written, Moab shall be thy washpot, and Edom shall be thy shoe. All right. So they're going to be at the very bottom of us serving us, man. All right. I think that was let's see here. Yeah. Verse 10 was a key point. It says, the sons of strangers shall build thy walls, man. So the sons of these kings and all that are going to build up the walls. All right. They're going to serve that slavery. They're going to have no choice but to. Okay. Now, this is the book of Nahum, chapter 3. And I'm just bringing up all the scriptures that goes into how these kings are going to be bound up in chains, man. I don't talk about the low level ones being bound up in these chains, but we understand that all of the heathen are going to have to serve us. So we just read that in Isaiah 60. But the first ones that are going to be bound up and found out, all right, are going to be the kings. Because again, when destruction hits, there's going to be a lot of death on the earth. Okay, Babylon's going to be fried. It's going to be destroyed completely. But around the whole earth, there's going to be a lot of death. Okay. So within that being the case, the ones that are going to be found are the ones that had the power to be able to hide themselves. Okay. So this is the book of Nahum, chapter 3. Let's see here. In verse 10, it says, yet she carried away. Now, this is the judgment that was given unto Nineveh, which was a chief city in Assyria. All right. A chief place of Assyria. All right. Now, Nineveh is spiritually Babylon, man. Everything that's taking place in ancient Nineveh is replaying out in Babylon. And just as the way Nineveh was taken down when you read this, it's going to happen over here in Babylon. OK, but when you read this here, all right, spiritually, this is talking about mystery Babylon, man. OK, even in ancient Nineveh, the king was a cross dresser. OK, a woman, before she could enter into womanhood, she had to go fuck a bunch of different men and play the prostitute, experience different dicks. All right. A lot of the things that happened in ancient Nineveh, the same practices are taking place over here in Babylon. All right. Or America. OK, so just as ancient Nineveh was taken down, you read these here and you see that the same characteristics that happen in Nineveh are going to happen to Babylon when you read these scriptures. OK, so this is Nahum 3 and 10. Yet was she carried away, she went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets. All right, so the children are going to be dashed to pieces. OK, and what does that sound like? That sounds like Psalms 137. Matter of fact, let's get it. And I get back to Nahum. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 7. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. OK, and that went into the earlier book that we had read. All right, which I believe we had read that in Jeremiah 16. I think that was either Jeremiah 16 or no, that was Amos 9, where it says that they're going to have to pay double for their sins. All right. So everything that they've done to us, they're going to have to pay back double, sevenfold. All right. It says, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. All right. So even these children, these little ones are going to be dashed in pieces, man, because they're going to have to go. That's why in Isaiah 14 and 21, it says, prepare slaughter for the children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they may neither rise nor possess the land. And it talks about slaying every child and every son and every nephew. All right. Now we understand that servitude is going to have to play out first before they're all killed off. Ultimately, when the son and the nephew is destroyed, that's going to be when we take all the Edomites and gather them up and burn them up. All right. But these kings are going to have to serve slavery, man. And their little ones, all of that, they're going to be killed off. These lower level Edomites, they're going to be killed off and dashed away. All right. They're going to be taken into slavery, them and their women. And they're going to have to reproduce and have babies. And their children are going to serve. And that's just the truth of it. So let's get back to Nahum, the 3rd chapter, the 10th verse. It says, yet was she carried away, she went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets. And they cast lots for her honorable men, and all her great men were bound in chains. OK, so the honorable and the great men were the ones that were bound in chains. All right. And just like the men were, the women were, too. Because with them being slaves, they had to reproduce. OK, now I'm going to jump down to verse 17 and read through 19. All right. It says, Thy crown are as the locusts. All right. So crowns are a reference to kings, and thy captains are as the grasshoppers. All right. Which are the nobles and the rulers and the honorable men. All right. Men with that power, which camp in the hedges in the cool day. Okay. So when you go in the cool day, that means they was chilling. You know, that means that when that goes into that means they was chilling. They wasn't worried about anything. They was living deliciously. Okay. But when the sun ariseth, they flee away. Okay. Because when that heat hits your ass, you got to migrate and move somewhere. And what's that heat ultimately synonymous for, man? Destruction. All right. The missiles, the destruction that comes, the heat. That's why it says they flee away. And what do they flee to? They flee to their bunkers in the earth. They flee to the stars in heaven. All right. Now, best believe it ain't going to just be that, okay, yeah, we just going to flee away right at the same time when the nukes come. All right. These are the elites. They have the agenda. They know about when the missiles are going to be launched and everything, man. All right. They pulling the strings. So it says, thy nobles shall, It says, but when the sun ariseth, they flee away, and their place is not known where they are. Okay. So they flee into these dens of these caves and these mountains and under the sea. They flee to these different places. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Okay, meaning they're going to be cast down and brought low. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. Okay, and that's that judgment that's given to the serpent again, man. All right, they head going to be dashed. And the way to do that, you take out the kings. You chop off the head of the serpent. You bound them in chains. All right. They're going to be bound in chains and served. They're going to be the lowest people on the planet Earth. That's why it says they're going to dwell in the dust. Okay. They're going to be based, which they already based anyway. But they're going to be made base. They're going to be brought low. All right. Just as we were brought low at a point in time and had to serve them, this going to happen with them. All right. Hey, this is an example of the first being last and the last being first. All right. Ultimately, that goes back to Jacob and Esau. The first shall be last. All right. These people that were in power, these kings, they're going to be bound in chains. All right. And us being the last, we're going to be made first. We're going to be made the heads of planet Earth under Yahushua. All right. That's what's going to take place. So, yes, man, in the kingdom of heaven, there is going to be slaves. It says in Isaiah 60 that sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and thy kings shall minister unto thee. All right. So they're going to build up the kingdom of heaven. All right. They're going to come in chains, man. That's just the true matter of it. I'm going to end it off here in Isaiah 45. This is Isaiah 45 and 14. It says, thus saith Yahweh, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and the Sabians, men of stature, shall come unto thee, and they shall be thine. All right. So men of stature, and he's using the Sabians and the Egyptians and the Ethiopians as an example. All right. Now, this is talking about just the heathen. This ain't talking about Edom. But if this is pertaining to the heathen, then you know Edom going to be in that boat. And this is before they get, like, I'm speaking right now as before they get burned up. Even after they get burned up, you're going to have the Egyptians and the Ethiopians and the Sabians coming unto us. All right. But for the first 1,000 years of that period of time, man, these Edomites are going to be serving slavery. All right. They're going to be serving that slavery. Hardcore, building up our houses, our walls, all of that stuff. It says, men of stature shall come unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains. They shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely God is in thee, and there is no one else. There is no God. Okay, so they're going to be able to look at us, and by our presence, by our energy, our aura, our power, they're going to be able to know that the Most High exists and he is in us. Okay. But it says they're going to come in chains. Okay. So, yeah, man, people are going to be in chains in the kingdom. And the first fruits of it are going to be the elites. All right. They're the ones that have the power to be able to hide in bunkers, to be able to hide in mountains, to be able to do all these things, to be able to go up to space. OK, the reason why they're hiding in such depths is because the pending destruction that's to come to Babylon And what's going to happen all over the world is going to be horrible. All right. In order to escape it, you have to be far from it. Okay. And a lot of these people out here don't have power to be far from it. Okay. You even have certain jakes that are going to have a way to hide from it, man. And then once the elect come out of those chariots, that's when we're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel that you read about. But I don't want to digress. Going back to the point, the first fruits of slavery are going to be these kings and these nobles, these elites. All right. They're going to be the first fruits of slavery, and they're going to have children, and their children are going to serve. All right. Hey, the scriptures say the saints shall take the kingdom. All right. And that's what we're going to do. OK. And in order to take the kingdom, who do you have to take first? The kings. OK. So I'm going to end it off on that. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and much citation to you, elect Akim, and also you few sincere sisters that listen to the truth and subscribe as well to the men of the Lord. All right. Shalom.